All right, all right. We are back at the Grit Won't Quit podcast studio in Belmont, New Jersey, and it's a beautiful day out. We have a very special guest who took 195 to come see us today, and from Princeton. And we have Sassy on. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Usually I don't get podcast guests' names with the name Sassy, but,
Try to make it exciting for you, you know?
You
On
go
a
from
Friday, beautiful Friday at the shore.
Totally. I
Spice
love it.
it up.
I'll tell you, Belmont's so much nicer on nice days. I
100%.
always say I never want to go to Belmont on a rainy day. Like, I have an office in Manasquan, as I told you before, but I never, like, if it rains there, that's okay. If it rains in Belmont, I'm disappointed.
Different story.
I don't understand it. It makes no sense, but I just go with it.
Yeah.
So you had a little short stint in between both of my offices.
I did. Yes, we lived in Seagirt for a short time, spent some time on the shore off season though. We were there literally like after Labor Day.
A winter rental.
A winter rental, exactly.
That's the
Honestly,
best time.
it was amazing, and it was during COVID, and it was so quiet, and
September and October
it's
in this
beautiful.
area, awesome. And then you get some nice days in April.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
got like
again-
a 70-degree day in November, I think.
Yeah, that's nice too.
Yeah.
So you're now in Princeton, and you own you run your own company
Yes.
for the last 5 months.
Yes.
How do you like it?
It's been awesome.
Okay.
It's been, I would say, incredibly challenging. I think, as anybody would say, starting their own business, but also
The
so
hustle,
rewarding.
the grit,
The
doing
grit.
everything,
Yeah.
never giving up.
Yeah, never like stopping thinking about it,
Just
which
keep
is
going,
a
push
change
through
from
it.
other jobs.
So you kind of give us a little story. So you went to school out west, came back here, lived in the rental, enjoyed those nice days in September, October, and then a little into November, and then you went and did what?
Yeah, so as a background, I'm a sports medicine and lifestyle medicine physician. So I did my residency outside of Philadelphia in family medicine. Then I went out to Colorado for sports medicine fellowship.
That's pretty cool.
It was amazing. Amazing year. I could spend the entire podcast talking about that, but we won't. And then
If we were doing a podcast on Colorado, I'd say yes, but this is a podcast
Right.
on the grit
It's
of
true.
starting your own
It's
business.
true.
So
It's true.
it's great that Colorado was awesome.
And then came back to New Jersey.
What made you come back here?
Family.
Okay.
Yeah, so my husband was also out west at the time. He had a job. I was finishing fellowship. We couldn't decide where we wanted to kind of settle down, and then we compromised, came back to New Jersey.
Is he from Jersey too?
He's from Long Island.
So am I.
No
Where did
way.
you grow up on Long Island?
Where? Nassau County.
Me too. Where?
Lawrence. Well, he grew up in Oceanside.
All right. Him and I,
Hopefully I don't get
25
those
minutes
facts
away.
right. Where'd you grow
You
up?
could tell him I grew up in Wantua,
Okay.
next to like Belmar and Merrick, in that
Okay.
area. So we're not too far down Sunrise Highway. We could have met up there.
Yeah.
That's small world. That's great.
Yeah.
So now you decide Jersey's where you're going to be.
Jersey's where we're gonna be. So we came back in 2020, I guess, like height of COVID.
Yep.
Started my first job at a large orthopedic practice in Princeton area. I was there for 3 years. Joined another group, a predominantly PT group, and started the medical side of their practice. And then after a short stint there, I just, it wasn't really worth my energy there. And so I thought about what my next steps were, and it was either kind of go back to a really large group or go on and start my own practice to really do what I love doing and kind of have the time with patients, give patients the care they deserve, and practice really kind of why I went into medicine in the first place.
That is fantastic and very cool. And I love the fact that you're doing it the way that you want to do it.
Yeah, it's
like
awesome.
Sinatra says, I did it my way.
Yes.
But I think that that's great because you're giving them what you feel is the right medicine and the right visit.
And time.
Time. And how do the clients like it?
Love it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I think so. The feedback that I get back is great. I mean, because I think the biggest thing for patients is that they feel like they are being heard, kind of for the first time when they go to their doctor's office, because they're used to seeing doctors who are on a very tight schedule, seeing patients every, 10, 15, 20 minutes, where you can't have so much of a conversation or really, get into the details about what's going on. And now I can really sit with them for an hour and talk about what's going on and their background and what led them here, and try to help them in that way.
That's great. So you really can give them that one-on-one attention.
Yeah.
Now, so 5 months in, how are you getting these customers?
Marketing, getting out in the community as much as possible. So that's been kind of the true grind every day, is just finding different avenues and finding where my ideal patients might be, going to all those places, setting up tables at them. A lot of them are these like really smaller boutique gyms in the area. So just going to each one of them, doing lectures, doing, events, helping out, and just kind of being out there in the community so that I can, talk to them and be approachable.
That's great. And did that get you out of your comfort zone? Like going to becoming part of the community and going to some of these places?
A little bit, yeah. I did get the experience doing that at the last job where I was at the PT group. So I did really, I feel like, learn how to market when I was there, and that was really helpful because I had, at my first job, I never had to do that because it was a huge group, and like people just came to you, right? Like patients just showed up on your schedule, whereas now it's like, all right, cool, like where are these patients coming from?
Yep.
And so, yeah, it definitely is a little bit out of your comfort zone because you're like, all right, well, what do I say to these people? How do I get them to come see me or tell them what I do? But it's honestly just been amazing meeting people, and just like the community's incredible.
Totally. Now, you went to school for medicine.
Yeah.
They didn't teach you marketing, did they?
No.
They didn't teach you sales. They didn't teach you follow-up and getting Google reviews and anything like that.
Totally.
So, like, you've been educated to learn about medicine and helping people get better. But, like, when you start a business, and again, that first firm you were at, you said it was just, they just put calendar appointments on for you.
Yeah.
But now, like, you got to think differently, right? Like, it's like part of your day has to be in social media, in posting content, and and again, you have a lot. It sounds like you're a wealth of information, but now you got to get that content in a usable, digestible format, so that people that have some of these ailments, some of these issues, know that you're the one.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I would say that seeing patients and like actually doing what I do during an office visit is the easiest part of the job right now.
Yep.
Right? Because that's what I've been trained to do, as you said. All of the other stuff is like, this learning curve that I know, you got forced into doing.
Though, right?
It is fun. It is fun. And like, looking back, I mean, I think before I started this job, I was like, what is an Instagram reel? Right?
Yes.
Like, no idea.
You know it now, though.
I know it now,
All right, good.
And I know how to like edit one. I mean, still like very baby steps, right? But it's kind of like what I teach my patients is like things are done in baby steps, and set realistic, achievable goals, and work your way there.
In a year, you're going to look back and say, look at this. Or when you hire your first and second and third employee, you're going to say, wow, I remember when Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, which is going to be before the air date, but it's going to be the Wingman's 16th birthday or 16th anniversary or 16th whatever. And me, Andrew, and our branding manager were doing some videos yesterday, and they would talk, like, you look back and you say, I can't believe, like, I remember that. Or I remember the first job that we had a typo on a trifold brochure on it. I had to print 2,500 on my course because the guy wasn't going to pay for it. And, looking back all these years, we overcame this. COVID. Like, COVID could have put us all out of business.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember that first day when one of the women at our office said to me, Tom, I think they're going to close us down tomorrow. And I was like, they're not closing us down. It's crazy.
And you're like, wait.
And then all of a sudden I have to send a memo to the team. Please bring your laptops home. We're going to be, working from home for the next week. But as time goes on, like, you look at all these things, it's just achievements. And I always say, and I don't know how much you've listened to podcasts, it's moving the end zone. Like, you're going to constantly move in. Like, right now, overcoming some things that blocking and tackling to get the office running.
Right.
Then you're going to have someone helping you, and they're going to do some of this stuff, and you're going to forget how that even happened. But you knew you had to make it happen to get to that next level.
I know. And like thinking about it, it's like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're going to figure it out. We're just going to figure it out, and we'll do what it takes to get there, and it's going to be hard, but it's going to work.
And you got to be flexible and adaptable.
Yeah,
If you, I
totally.
think that people that don't do that is where they have hard times. And again, the world is changing so
Yes,
fast. And,
yes.
with WebMD, everybody's a
Right,
doctor.
right.
Just like, for me, it's, when I build websites, you could do an AI in 6 minutes. What are you charging me for?
Yeah.
Okay, go do that. Tell me how it goes right
Yes.
now. So you have WebMD to, people come
Yeah.
in and go, I know what this is.
Yes.
I studied it. So you have to
Yeah.
overcome that aspect
Yeah.
of the job too. But I think that as you grow, it's an exciting place because you're in a world like where it's been a certain way for years, and now you're gonna kind of break the rules a little bit.
It's awesome. It is really, really exciting.
Look at that, a new place to break the old rules. You see that?
Love it. Yeah, and I mean, I actually just recently posted about kind of like some of the reasons I like broke out of the current healthcare system, and it's to do things that you couldn't do, right? Like that we were too restrained. We didn't have the time. People were telling us we couldn't. Insurance said, you can't do this. And so like to be able to do things like this and like remember the reasons why I went into medicine is awesome. Like it's
great.
just like going back to why you're so passionate about what you do, and like the fact that you can actually practice that way now is like even more exciting. And I think that, when patients see that, or when I just like talk to people in the community, they're like, wow, yeah, that makes total sense.
I figured out why they got the Sassy name back. This is exactly why. So you can do what you want to do and do it the right way, and do it the way that you think is best for your clients.
Right.
I think that a lot of small business owners are passionate about, the service and making sure that their customers get the right, whatever it is, the right website, the right medicine, the right food, whatever the case may be. But, I think that sometimes in the bigger picture of the hustle, people, you lose sight of it. You lose sight of it. So I'm glad that and always remain true to that as you grow. Yeah. Remain true to that, because I think that that's going to keep you guys a step ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I hope so.
This is exciting. This is exciting. So 5 months in, and you got the world ahead. Like you got just nothing but time ahead of you to just keep making it better and better.
Yeah, and that's the coolest thing is like there's just so many opportunities that like are coming up that I feel like I would have never even seen before because I just like wasn't in the right space. But the fact that I'm just like can be out there is just I can finally start adding all these other little elements and just doing really awesome things.
That's great. Now, where do you see yourself in a year or 3 years from now or 5 years from now? Like, where do you see this going?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like ideal future, vision or practice, whether that's, 5 years, 10 years down the line, is I would love this kind of like multidisciplinary, like premier place for like health and wellness. So having my practice, which is, combination sports medicine, possibly adding some primary care in there, but then also having a gym as part of it, and having, a trainer working with me that can help people like really look at their movement, help them get stronger, especially if I'm seeing them either pre or post injury. Having like a cooking kitchen to start doing like some meal demos and things like that.
That's a great idea.
So I think, just like this kind of like one-stop shop and like really just elevate your health and wellness to, that next level and just make you live your best life and best quality of life yet.
I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of good ideas going on.
A lot of good ideas. Yeah, I mean, we've got to
take baby steps. But you know what? Each step you just achieve, and then you look back in a year and you say, how did I get that done? Yeah. And then you go to the next one.
I know, I think that all the time. I'm like, because people are like, you started your own practice? I'm like, I guess.
But that's what you tell your clients probably, right? Take baby steps.
Yes.
You're not going to go from a sports injury to running a marathon overnight, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
You're telling your customers the same thing that you have to tell yourself with the business.
Yeah, and that's what lifestyle medicine is all about, is like setting these really like small, specific, realistic, and achievable goals, right? Yeah. And so like that's what I do with patients is I sit down and I help them set these goals that are relevant to them, right? Yep. Instead of them going into their doctor's office and they say, you need to lose weight or you need to exercise more, and then the patient walks out and says, awesome, like I have no idea what to do with that information, because there is just so much stuff out there. Like, what do I follow? Who do I listen to? So I break it down into like the nitty gritty for them and make a plan for what works for them. And they walk out and they're like, yeah, I can do that.
That's great. I told my primary care doctor the last time I saw her, said, I have a mirror. You don't have to tell me I'm overweight. Yeah. I own a mirror at my house. But I was having lunch with a client the other day, and we were talking about, just attainable goals.
Yeah.
Like to say you're going to go to the gym for 2 hours a day after you haven't been to the gym in 10 years
Yeah,
is
not
not going to
realistic.
happen.
Right.
But if you say, I'm going to take a walk at lunchtime today for 5 minutes across the plaza, that's very attainable.
Yes, exactly. And that's why actually on my social media, I've started doing a 5-minute workout that I put out every Monday.
I got to follow you.
Body weight
Yeah.
only, so no excuses. I do a lot of them in the office,
Yep,
so
okay.
like, you know, I see a lot of good space here that you could use.
All right. I'm going to take you up on this.
And just something like really small, right? It's 5 minutes. 5 minutes out of your day, nothing else
can do
needed.
it.
Yeah.
I'm signing up.
You can totally do it.
I'm signing up as we sign off this podcast. I will be doing the 5-minute challenge on Monday.
Yeah, love it.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
cool. And it's very attainable. Because again,
Yeah.
people aren't going to, if you go too crazy, people are never going to be, again, I could tell
Yeah.
somebody, here's the next 18 months of your marketing plan, and they're going to look at me like, but if I
Right.
say to them, listen, let's just start the web design.
Yes.
Let's start on a brochure.
Yes.
Let's start on, the materials you need for when you do your next trade show. That's very attainable.
Right.
Let's do two things at a time.
Right.
That's, get that knocked out, and we'll start the next two.
Right.
I
Exactly.
love it. I think that's going to be great for your practice. Now, you said primary care too.
Yeah, probably eventually add a little bit of primary care. I mean, I'm primary care trained. I don't do a lot of it. Lifestyle medicine really is like a lot about primary care and prevention. So I love that aspect of it. But I think that people, I mean, I've had multiple patients ask me if I can just be their primary care doctor. So
I kind of like that idea because I feel like the primary care world is like, it's very
Wild.
It's like I feel like there's a
Yeah.
company like yours that could come in and do it well.
yeah, yes. So that the type of model that I practice in, that model is actually becoming more prevalent kind of all over.
Yeah.
Because it's a more personalized model. It's taking insurance usually out of the equation and allowing for like direct patient to physician conversation and care, and makes everybody happier.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got a great thing going on. I think that the best move you probably made was leaving these other companies to do this on your own.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think if you had asked me, when I graduated fellowship, if I was planning on starting my own practice, I would have
Say
said
no.
absolutely not, right?
Why
I
would
never,
you?
and even after leaving my first job, I would have said absolutely not. I mean, I would have had zero idea where to go with that or what to do, but I think the experiences that I've had so far just led me to the decision, and
So
I'm right.
let me ask you. So you left that second job because you said that it wasn't worth the energy.
Yeah.
So now you had you could have went back to a steady paycheck, if
Yes,
you will.
exactly.
Again, now to start talking about for the entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah.
So you could have gone back to place one or similar to place one and gotten your calendar just booked for
Yes.
you. Got your paycheck every week or every other week, and life would have been good.
Yeah.
Or option B was to go, take the fork in the road and take the unknown.
Yeah.
That has a lot of long-term potential. We talked about all the benefits of it
Yeah.
just over the last couple minutes, but also was a lot harder with
Yeah.
no certainty or guarantee.
Yeah.
What kind of drove that decision for you? Like, what made you say, yeah, I think that 5 months ago, this is the right call for me and my family and everything that I believe in and want to do,
Yeah.
versus staying, safe, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm like a huge sucker for like motivational quotes
Okay.
and all that stuff. But I mean, I really feel like you can't grow unless you go out of your comfort zone a little bit. And
100%.
I felt like my first job was amazing and like it was everything I needed it to be at the time, but I wasn't exploring my potential of really how I wanted to treat patients.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have 2 young kids now, and so I sometimes do need a little bit more flexibility. I was telling you how my son was homesick yesterday, so I brought him to work with me.
How's he feeling today?
He's better.
All right.
He's at school. Yeah, he was really excited to go back. Yeah.
That's good that he likes school at this point, that he wants
Loves
to go
it.
back.
Loves it.
Wow, that's great.
So yeah, I mean, I just thought that the long-term potential of doing what I'm doing now was so much greater and satisfying than I think sticking to the safe road. And I felt like I was in a situation where I could do it and take that risk, and then also, be there for my family.
Sure.
Also a little bit more, right? When things come up, I can be there, right? And like as a mom and a working mom and a working physician mom, like I do want to be there for my kids, and like I can't be there all the time, but like I do want to have the flexibility that if I need to be, I can be.
Totally.
And that has been really helpful. And I think a struggle I would say of working moms in general is not being able to have the flexibility, to be, and so to me, it's been,
we need more mompreneurs.
That's right. We do.
And in the world we live in, I think that's possible. I think if there was a time, I think now's the time for a mom that has a skill or wants to go out on their own. I think that gives them the flexibility of that work-life balance where, not everybody's business goals are different. We ask if we had 10 people in the room that own businesses, they would all be different.
Yeah.
But I think that, mompreneurs that have, a skill set or a trade or something and they can go out on their own and do this and not be tied down to the traditional 9 to 5 Monday to Friday.
Yeah, and still be extremely successful, right? And just absolutely crush it.
Successful.
Yeah, and just crush it.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that now's the time. And again, with technology is our friend. Like as much as it's a pain in the butt that your phone is always going off, you could do so much more now than you ever could.
Yeah.
Like, again, you got here a couple minutes early, you popped on your laptop and and again, anytime I go to a meeting, in the old days I'd be annoyed if a meeting got canceled or a meeting was late. Like now I'm like, all right, I got
lots of stuff I can do.
The first thing I do is when I go into a place, I turn on my hotspot and then I go to my laptop and, I'm good. You don't need to move me. But, I think that now's the time to do those kind of things. And, again, people can figure out what they want out of life and just get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what you got to think about. And I talk to the patients about this a lot is, like, life is too short, right? And so, like, you got to do what you love and just love what you're doing.
The hardest part is there's so many things I want to accomplish.
I know, Sam.
Like I just want to accomplish more and more. And I'm like,
I know.
Life is
baby
so short.
steps.
Like,
yeah.
But you gotta think about what it is, like, about what that is. So, and again, what equals happiness? What equals success? Again, success is different to everybody.
Right.
But happiness is different to everybody. Some people will say, like, why do you work so many hours? To me, I'm helping clients. To me, that's not work.
Seeing people succeed.
People succeed. And, then, again, when you get those referrals, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
So, like, those are the kind of things that are, make me happy.
Yes.
Where other people, want to do other things. So everybody's got to find what that is, what that destiny is for them.
Right.
And go for it.
Right. Yeah. I think I definitely talk to patients a lot about, what's their motivation, in terms of the lifestyle piece or sports piece. It's like, what do you love doing? Like, what are you trying to get back to? Is it like you want to be able to, play on the floor with your grandkids? Is it, you want to be able to travel and go hiking? So, like, everyone's got a goal. Everyone, like, has stuff they love doing. You just have to, like, ask them and then
draw it out of them.
Gotta draw it out.
Because everybody's like, I don't know.
Right. And I'm
but
like,
you gotta, once you start keying in on it, little by little, a little bit of information leaks in. Then you got to peel that onion back.
Exactly.
I love it. I want to start the 5-minute challenge. I want to start.
You got to start following me.
I will.
Yeah.
When we get off this podcast, we will be following each other so that I can make sure that. And Andrew,
I'm going to hold you accountable.
Totally.
Both of you.
I would expect nothing. Andrew doesn't need. At the gym, Andrew does not need accountability. The guy
probably goes to that CrossFit across the street.
The guy goes to the gym. One time I said to him, "Listen, let's go get lunch." He's like, "Oh, I got to go to the gym at 3:00." I'm like, "Bro, we could still eat lunch."
Yeah.
He's like, "Nah, I got to be good." So, he didn't want hoagitos that day. So, I will make sure, and then every Monday we'll make sure I will report back to you that I'm doing the work.
Yes.
Again, we know he's doing it. So this was great to have you on. This was a great conversation. Yeah. I didn't know when the name Sassy came across my email for who's coming in today.
You're like, I don't trust. This is a scam.
This was great. So I want you to tell people where they can find you online. Also, tell them where they can find you on the 5-minute challenge if they want to follow, and then we could have a competition.
Yeah.
And let people know, because I think this is great what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been awesome. Also, always love coming down to the shore on a sunny Friday. So you can find me. My website is coresportsmedicine.com. My Instagram is at Dr. Sassy Weinstein. And then I am also on Facebook, just Core Sports Medicine and Lifestyle Medicine. So reach out any of those places. Start the 5-minute workouts on Mondays. I'll hold you accountable.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much.